So friends, maybe for those of us that are coming to this case for the very first time, to just give you a little bit of history, is that within our cluster, there are quite a number of communities that all of us are sort of coming from. So right now we have Munumbwa, where we are, where the school is, but then there are also Baha'is that reside in these communities where activities are sort of being initiated. And also that we are very blessed that in some of these communities there are schools that are sort of being run based on certain Baha'i principles. And obviously, then activities also emerge in these schools. And everybody else that we see that is really like a protagonist within their own community, we sort of come together now to begin to reflect on what we have done in the past cycle, but also how is it that we're going to plan for the next cycle. And the cycle is just a period of time within which we operate. So this is the cycle is comprised of 3 months. Usually it starts from the beginning of a month. So the one that we just passed started from,
April.
April. It started 1st April and it ended today, which is 30th of June. So come tomorrow, we are starting a new cycle, which is going to end in September, is it? In September. So the next cycle will end in September, but we're starting it tomorrow. So maybe just to give a bit of context on what we're going to be reflecting about is that last cycle, the agencies of our cluster had set a target. The agencies are just friends that have been appointed to sort of just coordinate and mobilize us so that we are working within this cycle. So the agencies had given us we had set a goal of trying to do some direct teaching and also just having conversation with the families that we're working with. So maybe friends, we can try and now just bring out certain things from this paragraph that are related to the theme of the cycle.
Oh, they are also saying that we need to build capacity because if we want to have 200 or 300 devotions being said in our community, can we still go and visit everyone and assist everyone to do that? Or say in other communities, they actually have 500, thousands of community devotions or home devotions. So we cannot possibly increase the participation of everyone in the community to say prayers collectively without helping them to also learn how to host these devotions on their own and how to assist others later on. So I think these are some of the points on this slide.
And I think maybe in addition to what has been said, also those of us that could be teachers, we might be teaching these children and they're learning certain prayers, they're really memorizing these prayers. But then when they go back home, are we creating an opportunity for these children to actually begin to say the prayers that they're learning? So one of the things that they're also mentioning that those of us that are working with these children, these junior youth, can we begin to learn how to visit their homes, where they're coming from, and initiate conversations with their parents about the idea of hosting devotions. So for example, let's say in Banani, you have maybe 5 kids, and these 5 kids, 3 of them are coming from Baha'i homes. And maybe you know that in these Baha'i homes, they're already like devotional meetings. Mm-hmm. So one is that you are thinking about these 2 kids that are coming to your children's class. Do they have devotional meetings? Can you begin to now have like certain conversations with the parents of these children that you are sort of having in your class to encourage them to host the devotion? And sometimes you can accompany them, and then maybe from the very beginning you just encourage the child to say the prayer that they have been memorizing in your class, and that will be like a starting point for you. And now maybe that will now sort of lead into something.
In the first paragraph, it talks about one of the important strategy in developing our communities, and this is about expanding the devotional meetings in our communities. So maybe others can now add.
Well, it shouldn't be that it's like a secret. Mm-hmm. Like we should really, I remember at a point when we were doing a devotion during the fast in the school, And I really loved the fact that the girls would come and we would reflect on something at lunchtime. But then, some questions would come, and it sometimes was a little bit difficult to just push a Baha'i perspective, but because it was a Baha'i fast, it became clear that, I would fast for whatever reason. I remember one of us said that, I just fast because I'm from a Baha'i family. It is real that that's what makes you who you are. And so if that's what it is, then you share that love. That because I really love Baha'u'llah, or whatever reason I do this, I really enjoy these aspects of the faith, so that someone can now find a reason, so what are the principles of the faith that make you do what you do? So our love for Baha'u'llah maybe is also another way of just, when you hear Christians talk about Jesus, it's like they're eating the love for Jesus. They're so enthusiastic about it. But I think as Baha'i sometimes we like to be very proper and not to share it openly, our love for Baha'u'llah.
So maybe one thing that we should realize is the efficiency of these core activities are also dependent on the devotions themselves. So once these spaces are created, then we'll have a pool of people to actually naturally take.
Participation in teaching endeavors and numbers of core activities in the utmost advanced clusters has been the effort of the area teaching committee.
The accomplishment of the previous series of plans, particularly the last 5-year plan, could not have occurred without a tremendous advance in the teaching work. An important dimension of this work is the capacity to engage in conversations on spiritual themes, a capacity which was explored in our message to your 2015 conference, where we described how it is developed through participation in institute courses and by gaining practical experience. It is evident that the pattern of activity unfolding at the grassroots opens a variety of settings in which receptive souls, sometimes whole families or peer groups, can take part in meaningful conversations, which are
more and more our capacity to have conversations with the friends through the different spiritual things. And I think that in the message of the house, when this kind of conversations are taking place in the community, the spiritual forces, they said, are released in the communities and influences the life of the community. And so then our capacity to really engage as many people in the community with the spiritual themes will enable us to advance the teaching work. But also that through these conversations, then we are able to invite them to join the institute courses, where they also develop their own capacity to again initiate this kind of conversations and engage others to these conversations that are about spiritual themes. And the House of Justice said that if this is happening, they said when people are taking part in this kind of conversation, then what does it say here? That it will awaken interest in the vision of the faith and the person of Baha'u'llah. And so this is how then they begin to identify themselves in the faith, especially then they will begin to gain confidence to participate in the community building process through service.
The story of Gift is it's a very inspiring story, because Gift came to a reflection meeting. Eh? So Gift, if you can just take us through like what happened for you to even come to that reflection meeting, and then what happened after.
Well, that reflection meeting, the one who invited me was EPA. And that was the first time we hearing about the Baha'i faith itself. Mm-hmm. And since then, the most thing that I liked about this faith is the writings. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did you now find yourself even joining the Youth's Year of Service?
I think that just again it's Who
introduced?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's the one who told me about that same program. Yeah, so he told me that if there's nothing to do for you at home, you can maybe come here, maybe I can find something to do for that can be keeping you busy. Yeah, so that's how I found myself.
Yeah. So Gift, by the time Gift was actually joining the year of service, he was thinking about becoming a soldier. So that was his career. But now Gift, what do you want to be?
A teacher. A teacher.
Why?
Oh yeah, this is when I've discovered that I'm good in maybe like in explanation and teaching. Just teaching those to my grade. That's when I discovered, okay, I can do better into this stuff than just I can do better in life than maybe like holding a gun and stuff.
Thank you.
At the beginning, you were complete strangers with like 7 other ladies who always laugh, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to also see how did that affect you, and now how does that relationship change from being strangers and now to this group of young people. I don't know, your friends now, and yeah, how would you describe the change from strangers, now you have this group of friends?
He's the only man in that group.
Yes. Yeah, and I asked you one time, no, you're not giving up. Yes.
I would say that maybe like the friendship, so far I can say it has become maybe more stronger. Because maybe like it's the first time for me, maybe like to be in a group of where there's only girls and I'm the only guy. That's the first time for me. So I think even the guys themselves, I think they are good guys, as you say.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Gift, for sharing your story.
As for me, the group of juniors who are facilitating is just the second one. I usually do in the holidays when I go home. This is the second. The first time I came here, I was invited to book 5. Our facilitator was Mr. Kasangan once. Then after that, I tried to join the Mambo and the media in children classes. I didn't manage.
Why?
I can't manage. They're still young for me. Then that's how I joined George.
He's more mature.
That's how I joined George in Zone C.
Yes.
Then the first time it was like our participants, they were feeling shy to read and to share. But now they are like, we are used to them, so now it's quite easy.
How did that class start? Because I remember it was part of the last reflection meeting plan. So how did it actually start?
Me, I just joined on.
Oh, George had already started it.
George had already started it.
Oh,
Just joined.
okay. Thank you so much.
Actually, I was just invited by Teacher Chris to help him. I was not part of the blenders, but since I started, but first it was a bit challenging because there were many kids and none of them were too small. So I and Teacher Banda, we thought of dividing them into 2 groups so that it could be easier for us to teach them. But as it for now, it's just okay. We are at least the kids are able to follow what we are teaching them. It has been nice. Yes.
How has that experience affected your friendship with Emily?
It has really contributed positively to to our friendship with Emilia. Yes, although Emilia is helping Teacher Chris with the JYs. Yes.
Okay.
So this program is really helping me a lot because in terms of the stories for Bahauda, I didn't really know them very well, but I'm beginning to know them. So it's helping me a lot.
Thank you. Can we give a hand? And how did it even start?
I think the whole process started when I first came to serve at James Community School. By then, I've also had contact with the Baha'i friends, where I was learning or going through book 1. But then, having came to this community, also had a very big impact on certain decisions that I was making there. So then, one of the factors that has really contributed to my understanding about the faith is the help that I got from the friends and the children and faith. And then also this aspect of the investigation of truth. So I really had to take time for myself to just really study about the Baha'i faith so that I am more aware of what the Baha'i faith is. And that has actually helped me so much that I have gained some knowledge about it. But nonetheless, I'm still looking forward to learning more because a number of series that I've missed, for example, I never had to go through a junior children's class. Yeah, so I'm still learning in the learning process.
You are now teaching the children that you missed.
Yes.
Okay. Mwanda was also there, I think, when Gift came. And then when I was asking Gift if he can share his story today, he said, Mwanda is not here today. He's not here. And then I saw him walking and I'm like, oh, Mwanda, would you like to share something about what your journey has been?
That I haven't learned a lot about the Bible. Still in the process. Yeah, this is my second time being in the faith community. So I'm on the process of learning about the Bible.
Okay.
Yes.
And how about services? Is it has it changed your understanding of what service is to the community?
Yeah, it has changed a lot about me. Yes, it has showed me that peace. Okay. we should learn how to help one another.
Yeah, so now he's a student, right? At the school, and so I know I've seen him a number of times, like going into the community with the other with his classmates, and that just shows you how, like, you know, from an initial contact with the friends when it comes to our service endeavors and our very small endeavors here and there in our community, the educational processes that we are involved in. So now we come to George. George, would you like to share?
Actually, as for me, the group that I'm having with Albert, this is kind of my second JY group.
Yeah.
Firstly, when I arrived here, I was invited to a book 1 study, and the person who was facilitating was Eunice Tembo from Banani and Sharab Sonkunda. So after completing that book, we were now oriented with a book 5 study that we should also try to form up our JY group, and our facilitator was Tisha Jackson. And then we went to the fields, and then finally we made a group with Paul, we were coordinating. And then my experience was that at first I never had this idea of maybe becoming someone who can help others. Yes, I even never understood the way the service itself. Yes, but the more I was engaged in these programs, I became now to get that clear picture of what the sequences of the Baha'i faiths means. Yes, and now we are co-animating with Albert at Zone C, and then we're having a great experience. Yes.
Thank you.
With me, I first met the Baha'i friends in Kabwe. That was December 2018. It was at LGI. Actually, I had just graduated from teaching. I was at IUTC. So I was actually, before that, I was offering some tuitions at my place, but then I wanted to expand my activities. So I went to LGI. I met some friends there, and they invited me to a study circle. That was book one. So we started with the study with Felistas Moape, and then I was introduced to the teachers training program under Ishindo, and then I continued my book one study with the facilitator way back was Ruth Chibwana. And then from there, the following year, in 2019, I started teaching the first group of grade 8s at GEMS in Liteta, at GEMS Community School. So through the process of teaching the young youth, I was also helping to, facilitate some of the JY materials. I wasn't an experienced animator, but it was learning through, experience and yeah. So through that, also with the teachers training program that we have been having, both in Kabwe and Chisamba at Banani and at Ishindo, I came to be, actually my interest was to learn about the person of Baha'u'llah, because most of the materials, they were having these ways of the revelation of the manifestation of God. So through the invitations by the friends to participate in different study circles, and most especially here in Liteta, there have been spaces for cluster reflection meetings. I've been invited, and even devotional spaces. I've been attending that from time to time. So through these, I came to learn more about what the Baha'i faith is, and I fell in love with the ways of Baha'u'llah. So now, with accompanying the teachers, because I was working with the community schools program, and I was actually one of the facilitators. Yeah. So when I was accompanying the teachers, some of the teachers were asking, "Are you also a Baha'i?" But then I wasn't very sure, but I could just say yes, I am a Baha'i. But then the time when I had attended the first cluster reflection meeting at GEMS, I was only hearing the statistics that no, we have new Baha'is and all that. But on my part, I didn't know what it meant to be a Baha'i. Yeah. So recently, I think it was in May this year, we were having a study circle at Banani. Yeah. So I took interest to actually ask In that meeting, there was Mr. Darius Kandu, there was Madam Chris was there. So that's how I took interest to ask, to say, how do you become a Baha'i? And then Mrs. Lengwe had to kind of share with me to say, no, it's not difficult. You just have to embrace the manifestation of God and you become a Baha'i. And that's how I joined the Baha'i community.
By the way, he's the secretary of the local school.
Actually, I didn't even know that Chamanza was not a Baha'i, because at the beginning, also when I met them together, I used to just say Allah and he would answer. So when I heard that, oh, he has declared to become a Baha'i, I'm like, oh, he wasn't a Baha'i. So it's been very interesting to witness your journey and to also witness you serving in the community. Thank you for sharing your story.
But then, that he said that he didn't really know, what does it mean to now become a Baha'i? Because, he has, from the beginning, he has been really attracted to the holy words. And then he was like, so who is the source of these holy words? And so then he learned more about Baha'u'llah. And then he wasn't sure, so am I a Baha'i, or how do you become a Baha'i? And I think that when there was a deliberate discussion, I remember we were talking about the local spiritual assembly election. And then we were identifying who are in the list of Baha'is, adult Baha'is for this community. And then he said, but how do I become a Baha'i as well? So then we said, oh, okay. So then if you accept Baha'u'llah as the manifestation of God and you apply his teachings in your life, then you're also a Baha'i. So that's how we were able to see that, okay, anyone can actually become a Baha'i.
Yeah.
And so friends, even in this group, if you are in that same stage where Mr. Mwanza was, that wondering, how do you become a Baha'i, please, you can go to him as the secretary of the local assembly to ask, and also the other Baha'is who are here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Comfort.
So the first time I heard about the Baha'i faith was in 2021 when I come here to visit my brother. So that's when we received some visitor that was anti-people and some other people. And we were like, no, Baha'i faith I was thinking that maybe Baha'i faith is a religion worshiping the other gods and stuff. I was like, yeah, I can't do this stuff. And that's when I was invited to Bukwan in Mlenda to Mr. Shimish.
Yeah.
That's when I was exposed to the Baha'i faith. And then went to the service part. I was when I started school. That's when the teachers were saying that no, we should do service in the homes, and I was like, what is service? Instead of us doing service in our community, in our school. Then that's when I understand the term of service to God, service to humanity. That's when
Love. Thank you.
cleaning. Praising the Lord.
Coming up like IQ.
Disappointment. Doubt.
Last year, it was a junior that the company decided to come back to life, and they have prepared a presentation for us today. We hope you enjoy it.
We, the mighty and the worthy, vibrant junior.
Louder.
We are here with the poem entitled Strive Until We Become Victors in Promoting Joy, God's Trust, Reliance upon God, Steadfastness, and Justice. We can't have joy without relying on God. To rely on God, we must be certain in our hearts of His power, and we must be certain of His confirmation when we do what is right.
Never lose thy trust in God. Be thou ever hopeful for the bounties of God. Never cease to fall upon man.
Rely upon God, trust in Him, praise Him, and call Him continually to mind. He very turneth trouble into ease, and sorrow into solace, and toil into utter peace.
Today is the day of steadfastness and constantness. Blessed are they that stand firm and immovable like a rock.
as a wrong. This world has a lot of injustice, but we should not let it get us down. We should seek light and turn our backs on darkness.
The rising sun grew.
Thank you for that's thank you.
So for our children's classes throughout the whole of Chichi North, our total is over here. We have recorded 16 with 321. So that's not inclusive of those from the community schools across the cluster. We are yet to receive updates from the coordinators. Yes. So we have 2 in Munumbwa, 5 in James School, 1 in Mulenda, 2 in Liteta South. At Banani School we have 6, and Mwamfumba we don't have at the moment. And then for our junior youth groups,
sorry.
Yes, please.
Mulenda.
There are 2.
Then the
split
There must be 2, no?
There are 2.
How many participants?
They are the same.
15.
One has died, the other has stayed.
Oh. She and there are 2.
Then for our junior youth groups, we have a total recorded number of 19 with 299.
So, Kian, for my class, I think I've got 1 junior youth who just came. She's making 17.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You put it to 300.
The participant is 1.
Just 1 participant?
No. There were 16, then there's 1 more.
Oh, but then the participation is what?
300.
It was 299 plus 1.
So we have 1 in Munumbwa, that's in Zone C. The friends I'm sure shared about it. Then we have 5 at Gems, and if I'm correct, please, if I'm wrong, please correct me. There is 1 in Mulenda, taken by Teacher.
Yes.
Okay. And then 1 also taken by the LSA of Liteta South in Banani. Then at the Banani School there are 10, and in Mwamfumba there is 1. Then our study circles, we have a total of 13 with 99. Any edits on the participation, I can make it 100. But yes, regardless, we have 4 in Munumbwa with 22 participants. So for the ones that have a small star on them, the participants are the same, so I didn't count them again. So this is giving us a total participation of 22. Then at Gems School, there are 3 with 23 participants. Also here, the participation will be duplicated if I added it. Then in Mulenda, we have 1 with 5 participants. And at Banani, I think there are 5 with 59. Yes, 99 participants. Yes. Then for our devotional meetings, we have total recorded activities of 30 with a participation of 661. So far, I have only recorded these from Munumbwa and yet received from Zone C. So that's why they are like that. Then from GEMS we have 13 with 183. I stand to be corrected for this one. Cheta South, there are currently 4 in the campus with 32 participants. And at Bonadi School, there are 8 with 403. So it's just a request if the collaborators and coordinators would forward any edits for the statistics here, then I can quickly edit it before I send to the admin. Circles and 10 devotional meetings. Just waiting for the confirmation on the number from here, so I try to give it more than that. Yes. So thank you so much for the pledge.
Yes.
Thank you, friends, for all the efforts that you have really put forward and the sacrifices we made for us to at least achieve events halfway. Every activity counts, every participant counts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.